Hey, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Kristina. This is where I read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy smashy stuff going on here. And this is Flashback Monday. And we are talking about May 2017 today. We started with Romantic Science Book Review magazine, and we worked our way up till the end when it ended in July of 2016, and we're proceeding forwards now. And the winner is, we went back a little bit and did some of the best of, but now we're proceeding forwards. If anybody has any ideas for some future flashback Mondays, please leave them in the comments. If I use it, I'll give you credit in the video. There's, like I said, there's 2008, well, the middle of 2007 through the middle of 2016. If you have any ideas, I'll be going through the magazines. Maybe I'll get some ideas. But I was trying to focus on more modern books, more recenter books, in the if-thens. So, we're sticking with we'll continue with May 17 right now. Catherine Bybee, Making It Right. Excuse me. Some kids inherit a family business. Joe Ward inherited a badge. Once voted most likely to end up in jail, the town wild child has become sheriff. Hell-bent on uncovering the truth about her father's mysterious death, life is quiet in rustic River Bend, but Joe longs for something beyond her small hometown and the painful memories it holds. All that keeps her sane is the support of her best friends, Melanie and Joe. But when Jo signs up for an expert law enforcement training seminar, she meets Gil Clausen, whose haunting eyes and dangerously sexy vibe just may challenge her single-minded focus. See what happens there. I didn't even look at this. What's this? There's a string in this book. Diana Stabenow. Less than a treason. 2,000 people go missing in Alaska every year. They vanish in the middle of the mountains, foot traces, on fishing boats in the Bering Sea, on small planes in the bush. Now a geologist known for walking about with his rock hammer has disappeared from the Sudalog mine in the park. Was it deliberate? Was it an accident? Was it foul play? It's time to investigate. Now, I want to do this series, but he's a game warden, and that kind of bothers me. The series looks really, really interesting, but his occupation is game warden, and I don't want to read about dead animals. But C.J. Box, Paradise Valley. For 3 years, investigator Casey Duell has been on a hunt for a serial killer known as the Lizard King, whose haunting grounds are the highways and truck stops where runaways and prostitutes are most likely to vanish. Casey almost caught him once. Working for the Bacon County, North Dakota Sheriff's Department, Casey has set what she believes is the perfect trap, and she has lured him and his truck to a depot. But the plan goes horribly wrong, and the blame falls on Casey. Disgraced, she loses her job, and an inquiry into her role in the debacle is put into motion. At the same time, Kyle Westergaard, a troubled king whom Casey has taken under wing, has disappeared after telling people that he's going off on a long-planned adventure. Kyle's grandmother begs Casey to find him. With nothing else to do, Casey agrees, all the while hunting the killer. And this wasn't the one. The other, let's see what's in here. The Joe Pickett novels are the game warden. This is not, I didn't realize this wasn't a Joe Pickett, but the Joe Pickett novels are the game warden ones. So if I'm going to do something, it's going to be the Joe Pickett ones. Aunt Dimity and the Widow's Curse. It's early April in the small English village of Finch, and everyone at the village committee meeting is surprised when the elderly, soft-spoken widow, Miss Annabel Craven, stands to make an announcement. She's decided to hold a quilting bee in the old schoolhouse. The quilting bee, Laurie, ends up seated beside Miss Craven, delighted at the opportunity to learn more about her neighbor's life in the nearby village of Old Cowaton. But during their conversation, dear Miss Sweet Craven reveals matter-of-factly that her first husband was a horrid man who deserved to die, so she killed him. So what do you do? What do you do? Is there I don't think there's a statute of limitations on murder. Laurie is taken back. Should she report the crime to authorities and see Miss Craven hauled off to jail? Could there really be a murder in their midst, or is Miss Craven suffering from some strange delusion? Time to investigate. Carolyn Hart, Walking on My Grave. Anne Darling's friend and fellow shop owner Vess Roundtree is a very wealthy woman. Her rich brother entrusted her with his estate, and upon her death his fortune is to be divided. Several cash-strapped islanders are in line to collect life-changing inheritance. Vess hosts a dinner for the prospective beneficiaries. Not long after, she suffers a bad fall that was no accident. Everyone at the table had a motive, but not a shred of evidence was left behind. When one of the suspects is found floating in the harbor and Vess disappears, Annie and her husband Max spring into action to catch the killer before he takes another life. Ah. Sometimes you wish for an inheritance, but keep the person too. Keep the person alive. The End of Magic. Amber Benson. Lice McAllister used to be like everyone else, blissfully ignorant of magic, of the dire battles fought in shadows and secrecy. But that was before her great Aunt Eleanor died, leaving her in control of the Echo Park Coven, before she found herself in the middle of the witches' clashes with the anti-magic zealots known as the Flood, before her blood sisters lost their faith in her. Now, this woman has a couple of names. She's Jane Ann Krentz, and she's Amanda Quick, and I think she's McGregor too. I don't remember. I think there's at least three. So, the girl who knew too much. When Hollywood moguls and stars want privacy, they head to an idyllic small town on the coast where the exclusive Burning Cove Hotel caters to their every need. It's where reporter Irene Glasson finds herself staring down at a beautiful actress at the bottom of a pool. The dead woman had a red-hot secret about up-and-coming leading man Nick Tremaine, a scoop that Irene couldn't resist, especially since she's just a rookie at a third-rate gossip rag. But now Irene's investigation into the drowning threatens to tear down the wall of illusion that is so deftly built around the actor, and there are powerful men willing to do anything to protect their investment. Secrets, secrets, secrets. This woman, I have a whole bunch of her books. I got rid of some. I shouldn't have gotten rid. I regret giving them. I gave away a lot of stuff before COVID, and I totally, absolutely, 100% regret it. I did keep a whole bunch of her books. But when I think of this woman, I think of E, and I don't mean e-books. I mean adult situations. E. I think of Sanheim and Eller's Cave type situation. Not that bad though. She always gives a good plot. So you get the good stuff. You get the adult situation and a good plot. So, Maya Banks, Just One Touch. Raised in a strict religious cult since she was a young girl, Jenna has no connection to the outside world beyond vague flashes of memory that seem to be from another life. Memories she clings to when she cult leaders discover her extraordinary ability to heal and punish her. Years held captive and forced to do the cult's bidding have turned Jenna into a meek, timid woman, or so they think. In truth, she's merely biding her time, waiting for the perfect moment to escape. When a terrified young woman tries to steal the SUV of Devon's security toughest recruit, Isaac Angus quickly turns into strange sort of protectiveness for the beautiful, abused stranger. But when they are caught in a firestorm of bullets and Isaac gets hit, he's sure the end is near until Jenna touches him and heals his wounds. I see a love story coming here. I also have quite a few of this lady's books. Is this no? It's Iona Andrews, White Hot. Hey Selena, naked guy on the cover. Nevada Bela has a unique and secret skill. She knows when people are lying, and she's used that magic to keep her colorful and close-knit family detective agency afloat. But her new case pits her against the shadowy forces that almost destroyed the city of Houston once before, bringing Nevada back into contact with Connor Mad Rogan. Rogan is a billionaire prime, the highest rank of magic user, and as unreadable as ever, despite Nevada's talent. But there's no hiding the sparks between them. Are we gonna get in the bedroom? And speaking of bedroom, yeah, think of this lady and you think of Texas. Do you think of Texas when you see this Linda Brody lady? Sexy young guys on the cover with a big Texas hat. The heart of Texas, the men of legend. One bullet was all it took to shatter Houston Legend's world. He swore he'd never love again, but with the future of the Lone Star Ranch on the line, he finds himself at the altar once more, promising to love and cherish a woman he's never met, a woman whose vulnerable beauty touches his heart. All Lara Boone wants is the name for her baby. She never expected to fall in love with her own husband or any man. After the heartache she's endured, yet when her troubled past catches up with her, Houston will move heaven and earth to protect his bride. Yay! Marriage is pure murder. Stacey McLaughlin. Dana Lewis is marrying Jason Forrester, a talented reporter and the love of her life. She couldn't dream of a better venue than the farm where she works, and her friends are determined to give her the wedding of her dreams. Even her florist, Bethany Lancaster, is making sure she has just the right flowers. But Dana's happiness wilts when she finds Bethany shot dead and discovers her friend was a busybody with a blackmail list longer than a cathedral veil. With so many enemies, finding Bethany's killer seems all but impossible. But Dana herself is eyed as a suspect, so she's gonna have to discover who did it before they arrest her. I usually don't think of this lady with romances. I think of more murder mysteries type situation. But here we go. No One But You, Brenda Novak. Struggling to make ends meet after a messy divorce, Sadie Harris is at the end of her tether. Her waitressing gig isn't enough to pay the bills, let alone secure primary custody of her son. Jaden, a battle she refuses to lose. Desperate, she accepts a position assisting Dawson Reed, the same Dawson Reed who recently stood trial for the murder of his adopted parents. Joining him at the isolated farm seems risky, but Sadie is out of options. Are we gonna fall in love? Working together? Alright. This was a TV show. And it should have lasted a little bit longer, but it was a very tongue-in-cheek TV show. He's the guy was a wannabe cop. He was a writer. He was a millionaire. Now he plays the rookie, and the show's been on for several years, and I'm wondering how long he can stay a rookie on the job if the show has been like 5. It's just too much. But anyway, I like this better. Richard Castle, Heat Storm. You gotta take them tongue in cheek. Her mother, who has been presumed dead for 17 years, has resurfaced, even though it seems Cynthia Heath's only reason for doing so is to issue vague warnings that the threat that first made her go into hiding is still as grave as ever. This time the pearl doesn't pertain to just Cynthia. As Nikki gets closer to the truth, a shadowy figure who goes by the name the Serpent is menacing her ever more violent ways. What was Cynthia involved in that got her in so much trouble? What could make a loving mother feel like she had no choice but to fake her own death and disappear from her daughter's life? The answers may lie 17 years in the past and halfway across the world, where secret CIA super spy Derek Storm has just tripped over a long ago recording of one of Cynthia's phone calls. Storm is on the trail of a nefarious group of Chinese businessmen known as the Shanghai Seven, who may have been hiding their little illicit activities behind a thin mask of illegitimacy. Hmm. Put that back on the shelf. Um. Celeste Bradley, Wedded Bliss. There's quite a few of her back there. As a ship captain's highborn bastard, Morgan Price has spent his life sailing away from England. The last thing he needs is a wife, but when he fears that his tilted half-brother, Neville, is about to be snared by a gold digger, Morgan aims to protect Neville by tricking the livery cook into marrying him first. He knows he can't allow himself to believe a word she says if only she weren't so convincing. Determined beauty, Bliss Worthington is not only terribly fond of finding another man waiting for her at the altar. After all, no one tricks a Worthington and gets away with it. Somehow, she fell for him. I love me some Regencies. If you haven't watched my top 7 Regencies of 2025, please go check those out. Jane Ashley, nothing like a duke. Lord Robert Gresham has given up all hope that beautiful and independent Flora Jennings will ever take him seriously. He heads to an exclusive country house party to forget about the beauty haunting his thoughts. When Flora shows up, Robert is nothing but shocked. Ooh, she goes after him at a house party. Cynthia Eden, wrecked. Gee, he's got clothes on. Lost agent Anna Young was only 14 when she was abducted by a madman, but unlike many kidnapping victims, she did go home. Now her mission is to find the missing, but her new case has her on the hunt for the escaped convict who's obsessed with her. And Anna has an unlikely partner, the sexy, obsessively by the book FBI agent she had one amazing night with and had to forget. FBI Special Agent Cash Knox knows that Anna, the petite, toughest-ass former bounty hunter, can get the job done again, but this time someone leads them to the Bernie the Butcher, someone who's been watching Anna and waiting for her. I started to read these and I ended up putting it aside. Ruth Galloway Mystery, The Chalk Pit, Ellie Griffiths. Norwich is riddled with old chalk mining tunnels, but no one is sure how many. When Ruth is called to investigate a set of human remains found in one of them, she notices the bones are almost translucent, a sign that they were boiled soon after death. Once more, she finds herself at the helm of a murder investigation. Meanwhile, Nelson is hunting for a missing homeless woman. Barbara, who he hears has gone underground. Could she have disappeared in the labyrinth? And if so, is she connected to the body Ruth found? As Ruth Nelson and the rest of their team investigate the tunnels, they hear rumors of secret societies and ritual killings. When a dead body is found with what appears to be a map of a full maze, they realize their quest to find the killer has only just begun. Ah. Into the Water, Paula Hawkins. In the last days before her death, Nell Abbott called her sister. Jules didn't pick up the phone, ignoring her plea for help. Now Nell is dead. They say she jumped, and Jules has been dragged back to the one place she had hoped as she escaped for good, to care for the teenage girl her sister left behind. But Jules is afraid, so afraid of her long-buried memories of the old mill house, of knowing that Nell would have never jumped. Always answer your sister's phone calls. Annie Grace, Marion Hayes. Um, The Summer Bride comes the first in a charming new historical romance series where marriage of convenience turns into true love matches. Duh! Every one of these, every single one of these that does, oh, let's pretend to be a couple so that our relatives don't try and matchmake us, they always end up married. Always. Every single one of these. Major Calhoun Rutherford returns to England on the trail of an assassin, only to find he's become Lord Ashton with the responsibility for vast estates and dependent relatives. Cal can command the toughest with the responsibility, toughest of men, but his wild half sisters are quite another matter. They might be just his undoing when he discovers Miss Emily Westbrook, the girl's former teacher, guides them with ease. But strong-minded and independent M is neither as compliant, not as proper as he expected, and Cal finds himself most inconveniently being attracted to her. Jennifer Ashley, Red Wolf. Lupine shifter Dimitri has always had to defend himself to other shifters. As a red wolf, he's not considered a pure wolf, and the battles have honed him into a tough fighter, a champion of Fight Club. J.C. Bordeaux, a leopard shifter, is Dimitri's staunchest defender and oldest friend, and probably mates, too. I think a red wolf is probably maybe rarer. Maybe they should be more valued instead of fighting. She shouldn't have went that way. The author should have went a different way. Joanna Byrne, Beauty Like the Night. Séverine de Cala, orphan of the French Revolution and sometime British intelligence agent, has tried to leave spying behind. Now she devotes herself to investigating crimes in London and finding justice for the wrongly accused. Raoul Deverency, an energetic half-Spaniard with enough secrets to earn even a spy's respect, is at her door demanding help. She's the only one who can help find the killer of his long-estranged wife and rescue her missing 12-year-old daughter and fall in love in the process. If you have not watched my Christine Feehan, Do I Have These All? Go watch that video. Even I was surprised. The paparazzi shadow keeper. The paparazzi can't get enough of infamous bad boy Giovanni Ferrero, but unknown to them and the women he beds, he's just playing a role, keeping the spotlight on himself, keeps it off the family business, and if this lethal shadow rider can't hunt in the dark, he'll find his pleasure elsewhere. Sasha Provus grew up on Wyoming Ranch and thought she knew how to protect herself from predators. But in the nightclub where she works, she's fair game until one of the owners steps in to protect her. And Giovanni is gorgeous and dangerous, and they fall in love, obviously. Alright. J.P. Beaumont. I love the audiobooks. I love the audiobooks. I love the audiobooks. He starts out as a detective with the Seattle Police Department, and he meets this woman who just messes with his head 6 ways to Sunday. She dies. Spoiler alert. She leaves him all her money. He becomes a billionaire, millionaire. He becomes best friends with her attorney. His partner, all of his partners he's ever had partners ended up tragically deceased or injured. Just ask Ron Peters. And then he moves on to working with the governor's task force and on all these different task force before retiring and and starting his own investigation business. And JP is probably 60 or something years old in book life. And I'm afraid that, the books are getting less and less. She's focusing more on Joanna, the sheriff, because she's younger. But I'm gonna be sad to see J.P. Beaumont go, because I just love this series. So, Proof of Life, J.P. Beaumont. Be careful what you wish for. Before he retired, J.P. Bowman had looked forward to having his days to himself and spending quality time with his busy wife, Mel Bellingham's chief of police, and two grown children. But too much free time doesn't suit a man used to brushing close to danger. Bo wants to do something useful, a wishful wish that is soon fulfilled in spades. When his longtime nemesis, retired Seattle crime reporter Maxwell Cole, dies in what is officially deemed an accidental fire, Bo is astonished to be dragged into the investigation at the request of none other than deceased himself. He left a letter. On the opposite sides of the homicide coin, there has been bad blood between two men for years. In the process, Bo learns that because a long ago case was solved doesn't mean it's over. It seems that before his death, Cole was writing a book about some of the investigations he covered and stumbled upon information on a past crime involving Bo. Caught up in a situation where old actions and grudges can hold dangerous consequences in the present, Bo is forced to operate outside the familiar world of law enforcement. While seeking justice for his frenemy and healing for a long-time fractured family, he comes face to face with an implacable enemy who has spent decades hiding in plain sight. I love J.P. Beaumont. I do. And that is the end of May 2017 new releases. Please check out the unboxing on Sunday. Anybody that does an unboxing, they know what's in the box. They 100% know what's in the box. They ordered it, or someone sent it as a gift and it's something they want. I get these boxes. I have no need for any of these books. I get them, we open them up, we do a video, and then we divide them up into different, this bunch is going to this charity, this bunch is going to that charity, this bunch is going to that charity, and they're out of my house in 72 hours. So that's that. And If Then Fridays, if you like this author, you might like that author. I've actually successfully put a list out, so you can D. Louise book series If Then. All that shit. So before you Google, please check out the D. Louise book series If Then. We're also reading J.D. Robb. We're spoiling the characters. When I did the reviews a couple of years ago, so if you want to watch the review videos, please go watch the review videos. If you want to come with me on my journey this year to spoil the characters and talk only characters for the entire year of 2026, because there are over 60 books in the series, and it's my favorite series in the whole world, and I love talking about it. Flashback Mondays, and of course my daily book reviews. Have a good one. Oh, and do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. Thank you.